Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. PSR is excited to present to you Last Call, featuring your boy, the pimp slap POD, Mike M.
Pimpin' ain't easy, but it's fun like money. Got bookies on the run, now it's time to get money. Not your typical way to ball. It's last call like some convicts waiting on the next draw. You can feel the tension. Did I mention? Fools better pay attention, cause we getting paid like a pension. T's on the ones and twos, we not the ones that lose. Mike Money's killers might even make the evening news.
And now, let's get to the picks.
We be pumping! Sports Radio. You know we be pumping!
What up? Welcome on in. It's Last Call. Here we go. Tuesday, April 4th, just after 6 p.m. Eastern. Pub Sports Radio. You already know it's what we do up in here. Time to get us paid here. We're running short on seasons, but boy, they struck us with a monster card tonight. College basketball goes bye-bye. Here's a 14-game NHL slate, a 14-game NBA slate, and hey, what the hell? Here's another 12 games in MLB. Go ahead, have fun with that. Okay, we will. In fact, really excited about the card. I'll give you guys the sneak peek here. Lots of plus money action, and not just for the sake of plus money, but I think these spots, these are kind of days that you look for. You got a huge card to work with. You're not just trying to navigate even. You want to get big cash, and I think you are at the right spot if that is your goal tonight. If you're just getting in, thank you. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us here. You could be anywhere else at 6 p.m., but, you're probably just getting out of work, trying to figure out what you're going to have for dinner. Maybe you're thinking about the cocktail plan. Maybe you got to go back to the liquor store because you had a little too much last night for the college basketball championship. That's okay, but let us help you figure out where to put your cash tonight. All about stacking up that green, working with the same game plan to get that money out of them bookies' pockets and put it into our own. Appreciate everybody rocking. Hit that thumbs up button, if you will. Help show the support. Support the channel out there. Appreciate seeing the memberships grow on the regular here, guys. Look, if you didn't know already, we've got a gold membership platform with Pub Sports Radio. It costs you $10 a month. It gets you access to exclusive content like what we did with the NFL out there, the circuit contest entry exclusive only to Pub Sports Radio members. You get discounts at the merch store, all that fine gear and get up that's out there. Stay tuned. There's going to be some last call stuff coming around the horizon. And then, of course, you get yourself ownership in a virtual pony. That's right. Twice a week, Jimmy the Bag, Jose Bouquet race. Well, you know what? In all fairness, Friday was a Greyhound race, and I really enjoyed that. So, we will see if it's Greyhounds this week or ponies. But guess what? You get a share in whatever it is that happens to be racing out there. If they got pickles out there, you're going to get yourself a pickle. But so far, I haven't heard that's the game plan. I think it's just ponies and Greyhounds. Stay tuned. It's a lot of fun coming out here. You never know what's going to happen when Jose and Jimmy the Bag get together. But shout out to everybody that got together for the live stream last night. Hopefully you got that cash with us. It was a banger out there. UConn paddled them boys up. You know where you heard that here. It was Last Call, the undercashed out there as well. Last Call. Shout out to everybody that was on that spot. UConn, I'm surprised. Pleasantly surprised because of the cash in that spot. But, all the trends out the window. You look at both these teams, all they've done is cover spreads here in the postseason over the last season or season and a half. So a lot of fun to watch that game there. It was kind of a beatdown early. It stayed a beatdown often, but that is fine because we also had Major League Baseball rolling. There were some NHL cashers out there too. In fact, we will recap just a moment from now, but guys, know the deal. 3 things we ask you to do for Last Call. Throw a thumbs up out there. Hit the like button for us there. Show the support. Help us crack the code. Let them know we're here doing it on the regular, guys, every Monday to Friday. You know the deal by now. We're looking at angles, trends, cash flow, line movements, bookie adjustments, everything you're going to need to figure out how to get paid. And it's exclusive here to Last Call. Some are trying to do it, but nobody does it quite like we do it. It's because of experience and a keen understanding in what all these numbers mean, where others are just trying to dip their toe in the pool and saying, is it cold? Is it hot? We got it. Let's get after it here. Number 2, we ask you guys get a pen and paper out there. You're going to want to write down the plays, not just from myself and, of course, our guest tonight. We got Jose Bouquet on the 1s and 2s and Billy Briz, but you're going to want to write down the plays from the chat because they're cooking. All about getting that cash and working together to get there. The chat continues to get sharper every day we do this. Love to see it. Love what we're building. Love the messages coming back and forth. Man, even on weekends now, guys, I get no days off. You guys, Saturdays and Sundays. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? I love it. It keeps me on my toes. And it's a lot of fun to cash with you guys, even when we're not here on a stream together. So let's keep building. Let's keep growing. I'll keep working hard if you guys keep working hard as well. Show the support, thumbs up, grab the pen and paper, and of course, throw your plays in the chat. Let's recognize what you guys are on out there. You're going to have to get up pretty damn early in the morning to beat my guy Joe T in here to be the first one to post his plays and his action. He's been doing it on the regular. That's a committed guy right there. That's my boy Joe T. He says, hey, Mike M., what's up? Let's get that cash. NHL best bets. He likes the Blue Jackets and the Lightning first period over. Juicy spot at minus 165. The Wild and the Avalanche first period over, minus 1.5. And he says parlay a plus 165. Fucking Brew Crew, too many dumb errors. Is a little side note from him for yesterday, but you know he's going to go back there. Let's see if he does, in fact. Justin McKelvey, my guy out there, repping Georgia, living out of the pit, baby. Let's go. He says Stacks POD is on Olsen over 1.5 bases plus 102 for my guy Justin McKelvey. And Nicholas Handy's in the house. Brewers money line and a minus 1.5 for our guy Nicholas Handy. Joe T does say he's going right back to that Brew Crew for his best bet. They aren't going to have stupid errors tonight. Good bounce back spots for them. And shout out to Razor. I'm sure I missed it. I hope I didn't miss the arm was stupid, but we know that was a lot of fun to see him rocking and rolling around the NFL postseason. Michael Robinson in the house says Detroit Red Wings in regulation is a strong lean for our guy, Michael Robinson. Oldies in the house. Brian Watson's in the house. Let's get after it, you guys. Nicholas Handy says, working on tomorrow's slate. Holy shit, we're already into tomorrow. My guy, let's go. That's why you're one of the best in the biz. My guy, Ken Wood, says, what's up, Mikey M? Winner Circle in the house. He's got the Draymond Green over 12.5 rebounds and assists. And then he likes the no-run first inning. The sweaty 6 for our guy, Winner Circle, in the Blue Jays and the Mariners game. So interesting spots there. Of course, that Draymond versus Lakers battle is going to be a lot of fun. Late night special there. Juggler 23 with our Wise Guys action here. He says, Wise Guys moved on the Nuggets last night, minus 13.5. I'm hoping it's a head fake. I'm on the Jazz plus 15 for 3 units. We're going to be talking about that game in the NBA with our guy, Billy Briz. In fact, the sneak peek, I believe the games that we're going to talk about in the NBA here. Let me just try to go off the cuff. I know the Bucks made Billy's card, that game, the Lakers game made his card. We're going to talk about that Jazz game, the Wizards game, the San Antonio Spurs, baby. We're going to talk about that game and the New York Knicks. So beefy NBA action tonight to try to get everybody paid out there. And he says the NBA trend of the day from Juggler 23, the NBA road favorites winning 36% of their games or less on an impressive 60-21 straight up, 53-27 against the spread number. That's the Spurs minus 5. I can't wait to talk about it. Nasty Nate in the house. How about this, Nasty Nate? It's not a typo. The Celtics second quarter plus 1.5 for our guy, Nasty Nate. Nasty Nate, I'm surprised you're not just going for the big cash, my guy. I don't know if it's that big here, but nice even money or plus 105 type of spot in that second quarter. Might have my name written on it. Talk Sports with JT's in the house. Ricky Levine says, Pimp Slap, get that cash, hit the like button for the pimp. You guys do it for me. If you're not going to do it for anybody else, help us support the brand here that is Pub Sports Radio. My guy Dan's in the house. Subhuman Gaucho. Rogue Energy, the dog of the day for Rogue Energy is the Cardinals and the Royal spot for our guy Rogue Energy. Big Scott 510 says, what's up, Mikey? Let's get paid. Plays I'm on the Guardians minus 1.5. The Rays minus 1. The Dodgers team total over 4.5. And the Magic minus 3. And there's my guy, Ramon Scott. What up, Ramon Scott? It's great to see you. He says the Phillies, Philadelphia's. I had to just ruffle through the accordion file of Philadelphia teams here. Philadelphia 76ers guard Maxi Hip out tonight versus Detroit. Crucial information coming from none other than one of the best in the business, a guy that I'm happy to call my friend Ramon Scott Sports. And there's Nasty Nate says, I'm on all types of shit. I figured you were, Nasty Nate. Plus money spot. You probably couldn't sleep last night when you saw the early lines drop for that Boston Celtics game would be my suspicion. So Marcus McCarthy in the house. Subhuman Gaucho, the hockey play of the day. The Sabres and Stars highest scoring period is the second at plus 240. Check my guy's record out here. 12-4 with the subhuman play of the day, plus 14.91 units for our guy Subhuman Gaucho. And there's Nasty Nate. He says, D White, points and assists, the prop category. You know he's going to beat up that Celtics game. Well, I'm excited to beat these bookies up, guys. You know the deal here. We got to be transparent. We got to go through this recap. It won't take us a minute. We had 9 plays out there yesterday. We went 5-4 high level. Digging into the weeds, a unit and a half. How about that? A 5-4 day. Most guys are going to be even or even lose a couple bucks. You follow these plays via the show. We won 1.5 units yesterday. We took a big victory. Our only hockey spot continues to be good to us in the Vancouver Canucks. I'm hoping we can get some of that positive juju on tonight's slate because big game hunting in the NHL tonight. Then we mopped up in the college basketball spots there. We got that UConn first half minus 3.5. The game under 145. If you heard me on the sesh, I was on that first half under too. Now that was sweaty. That first half under was sweaty, but that cashed as well. Unfortunately, not here for the show, but we did go 2-0 in college basketball. MLB was a bit of a shit show. Look, I got to stick back to my original rule. If these games start at 6 o'clock, sorry, maybe I'll tweet the action out early, but every time I make a move to get the 6 o'clock shit wedged in there, it's shit, and that's exactly what it is. Miami gave us a loss. The first 5 under 4.5 gave us a loss. And it's not entirely the 6 o'clock slots fault. Miami sucks, and then Jesus Luzardo. Look, that game was all fucked out of sequence. They should have lost the 9th game, making the 10th straight losing opportunity on the table against that New York Yankees, I believe was the math out there. They flip-flopped. They won that game before, and they lost against the Yankees. So, F them. On we go. Seattle Mariners, though, against Toronto was a loss for us out there. We cashed with Philadelphia. Guys, remember the deal. Jose Bouquet was there as well with us. First game of a series, the St. Louis Cardinals as a favorite. That's the kind of shit you want to write down out there. It's going to happen again and again and again and probably 30 times this season. So keep our eyes on when we can fade that St. Louis Cardinals spot. Philly got the win for us. Plus 152 cash with that Colorado Rocky spot. And then the Cubbies. The Cubbies out there. Look, Hugh Darvish, straight garbage. You heard it here. I told you about it before. Unfortunately, though, that bullpen with the Cubs leaked everywhere out there, and they ended up losing that game. Was it 9-8, I believe was the final score? A 9-8 loser for that Cubs spot. And that's how you go 5-4. Shout out to them Colorado Rockies. That got us into the plus. That got us in the green. And we are stacking now, back-to-back winning days on the show. Excited to bust into this card that is tonight, you guys. I hope you're ready because I certainly am fired up here. The plays are already laid out for me. Looking for a couple of validation points from the guys backstage to help us here drop in on some of these 8, 9 o'clock spots. But let's get into the NHL. We got to keep a brisk pace. We only have our guy Jose rocking them 1s and 2s for another 30 minutes. And he's got 2 baseball plays for us here. True to the process, Jose knows he comes on the show. He's got to give us the goods, and he's got 2 of them out there. So let's get into the NHL. Lace the skates up. We've got 3 straight plays. We've got a parlay play. 1, I don't know, 3 or 4. We got a lot of plays out there in the NHL. How about that? And if we cash them all, it's going to be banging. So let's get into the NHL. Then we'll move into Major League Baseball. Short slate for us here, being that it is on a Tuesday. And then we're going to jump into the NBA with Billy Briz to wrap the show. Let's get them skates going, though. Hope the blades are sharp. Put the tape on the stick. Let's talk about this first game. The Toronto Maple Leafs and the New Jersey Devils. What a card we had, by the way. I was looking at this one here. As far as 7 o'clock slot goes here, we've got 7 games at 7 o'clock. Listen, buyer beware. When you're down to the end of the season like that and they jam all those games in there on you, it's very difficult, and it's to the bookies' advantage because of the end of the season. You don't know who's going to play. You don't know who the starting goalies are. You're trying to lock down action. Maybe you're fucking off at work and you got 2 hours to go and you're trying to lock it in before you get the hell out of there. Not saying I've ever done that, but they jam all these 7 o'clock games in there and you got to navigate the minefield. So as we talk about these games, the Rangers and the Islanders, minefield. I would expect that game probably ends up going to overtime. The Rangers, a road favorite, small road favorite, but a small road travel spot as well. Line moving against them. The Senators and the Panthers, look, we already know the time for us on the Panthers with 1 week left in the season is Thursday, and that's going to be an under. Passed on that game. The Flyers and the Canadians with this goaltending shit show. The Flyers are not officially eliminated, but are officially eliminated. I don't know the deal, but we're not passing or we're not touching that game either. Canadians are one of those other teams that are, the thing about the Canadians is they have played bad enough that it doesn't matter if they win, they're still going to get a top draft pick. And then we look at the Hurricanes and the Bruins game. That's going to be a monster. I expect that to be a lower scoring game. It's in Boston. It's a travel spot for Carolina. Passing on that game. Then we've got Columbus and Tampa Bay. You want to drop a minus 350 with a week to go in the season on a Tampa Bay team that really doesn't have much to play for other than not trying to mess around with the Florida Panthers? No, Columbus is just fucked enough in the head that they could go out there and win this thing at plus 300 and screw everybody's parlays out there. But we've got action. At 7 p.m., we've got the Toronto Maple Leafs. We've got the New Jersey Devils. It's a battle. Toronto's coming out there, taking a spin on the road with a week to go in the season. 4-1 in their last 5 games. And the New Jersey Devils. Who's worse, the New Jersey Devils or the New York Islanders? I'm not sure. I'm going to probably put my vote on the Islanders still. But it's close at this point. We've got Toronto rocking with Wall and goal at 11-10-1. We've got Jake Allen. Suspected starter. We'll see. I know I still didn't see the official. This is the problem with all these games at 7 o'clock. But Allen, 11-16-4. We know Allen, the big trade coming in. Record doesn't show or support his numbers as of late. But we know Wall is 2.92 goals against average and a 90.7% save percentage on the season. Not bad. Not what they wanted, but not bad. He's starting to kind of reel it back in and play a better game of hockey here with the goal staying out of the net. His only job, really. And then Allen on the other side with a 3.35 goals against average and an 89.4% save percentage. Now, if you know hockey and you've been following the show, you know that we believe that teams do run out of gas on the second leg of a back-to-back. No doubt about it right now. We've got this Toronto Maple Leafs team having just beat the Pittsburgh Penguins yesterday, 3-2. Now they're traveling on the road. So there is that little bit of travel quirkiness that gets factored into the schedule. But what trumps the rest of the road disadvantage or the rest disadvantage? Revenge trumps it there. The road favorite going back to play a team that they were a favorite at home and have lost are 552 and 286 in that spot. Furthermore, when you're the road favorite and you're after a win that went under, you're 160 and 60, but not so quick to go out there and pull the trigger. Look, minus 120, more power to you. We're big game hunting tonight. I already told you there. Load the dogs up, get them out there off the leashes and send them out there to track down this game for us because it's a great opportunity, in my opinion, for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Minus 1.5. I just mentioned, I know. Second half of a back-to-back. But, Mike, it's the second half. They're going to have tired legs. Look, I'm bigger on the goaltending headspace than it is in a spot like this. The revenge factor means they should come in motivated. The New Jersey Devils, 17-19-3 on the season at home. That's a losing record. The Toronto Maple Leafs, 23-9-6 on the road. Huge winning record, playing great hockey away from the home barn out there, and they're coming off that win, so they are extra fired up to get it going. They already have the taste of blood. Now it's just time to go out there and capture this big dragon. Then we look at this New Jersey spot. Here's how I null and void the fact that it's the second leg of the back-to-back. New Jersey just played Saturday and Sunday. So there was only one day off in between there. And then the other factor to me that kind of stood out and why I wanted to go for the big spot, not just settle for the minus 120. Jake Allen, they played him on Saturday. You know, what did he do out there? Well, you know, he did get a win for him. It was a 4-3 win. On the other side of things, they go to Capo Kakinen on Sunday. And what did Kakinen do? He sucked a big, you know what? He lasted only 8 minutes and 40 seconds. Then he got injured. They had to yank him out. Then they had to go back in with Jake Allen. So essentially, Jake Allen's playing for his third start in 4 days out there. I think the goaltending disadvantage with rest trumps what's happening overall from the Toronto side of things here. And that minus 1.5 is glorious cash for us right now. I think it's a great opportunity. We're going big game hunting. We got to start with the first game. In fact, plus 185 is the best number that I see. It's still holding out there for us. And I like it. I think this is a good opportunity for us to get that cash here to open the card up. Let's roll on. Game number 2. We'll pick the pace up here as we get moving across the sports card tonight. Bunch of NBA starting as early as well. So we got to get to business. And let's get to that business here. Let's move on. 7 p.m. Capitals, Red Wings. No play for me in that game either. Detroit, I don't know what they're doing. They're just finding a way. We're trying to angle these games that seem to have some meaning. I know Billy's going to talk to us about that in the NBA as well. I went to this Buffalo Sabres, Dallas Stars spot. Shout out to our guy, Real Deal Prime. I know he's all 716, baby. Yeah, Steve G, thank you for that reminder. Jack Hughes has had his season officially shut down as well. They're saying this shoulder, I believe it's shoulder surgery, and he'll be back for training camp in September. But just another strike against why I want to fade those New Jersey Devils tonight. So let's roll on here. We've got the Buffalo. I saw Nasty Nate, and I was thinking Boston immediately. The Buffalo Sabres, 37, 36, and 5. The Dallas Stars, 49, 20, and 5. Now, I hear what you're saying. Dallas at home, they're overs. They're second period overs. Listen, Colorado owns the crown of second period overs at home. Let's stop right there. But as we look at this game here, Buffalo, I guess technically they're still playing for some goods out there. But the thing for me that's been kind of eye-opening here specifically, Dallas has been kicking ass and taking names, right? They're 7-1 in their last 8. They won 7-4 against Colorado. They lost to Chicago 3-2 in the look-ahead spot, though. Interesting that Colorado win, because I think this could easily be a sleeper spot for them as well. But I think that pertains to the offense. We'll put that off to the side. They did beat the Edmonton Oilers 5-0. They beat the Kraken 3-0, and they beat Vancouver 3-1 as well. That Dallas Stars team is humming. But guess what we've been seeing? Defense and goaltending excellence out there. In fact, over a 5-game stretch, they've only allowed 8 goals. Think about that for a second. Let that resonate. Marinate on it. Baste the chicken with the barbecue sauce and let it cook while we talk about what's going on this Buffalo side of things here. I'm hungry for dinner. That's where that came from. We got the Detroit Red Wings 3-1 loss there. Most recently, the Buffalo Sabres handed them a nice victory. They did beat Philadelphia. They did beat Washington. They got shut out as well. But again, lower scoring here. Guess where we're pounding away? The 6.5 is out there. It's slightly juiced on this total. Slightly juiced, meaning minus 120. However, you can get the 6s, and they're plus 102s, plus 101s, plus 100s, plus 100s. But I'm going with the hook. I'm taking the hooker, and it's only a 18-cent hooker. So we're getting a little bit of break there, I think, from a pricing standpoint. This thing probably should have been priced around minus 130, in my opinion. But nonetheless here, we've got Luukkonen going for Buffalo, 26, 21, and 3 on the season. We've got Ottinger going for Dallas, 32, 13, and 4 on the season. Luukkonen, a 2.57 goals against average, a 91% save percentage. Ottinger, 2.83 goals against average, a 90.3% save percentage. This is going to be Luukkonen's 5th start in a row, but he's allowed 2 or fewer goals in 4 straight games. Then he did allow 3 up that last game against Detroit. That's how you lose a game. Your goaltenders lets more than 3 or more goals in there. They took a loss on 21 shots. He allowed 3 goals, but again, played pretty phenomenal prior to that, 2 or fewer goals in 4 straight games. We look at the Dallas side of things. 9-1 over their last 10. Ottinger's going in for his 2nd start, but this fucking guy doesn't know how to let a goal in there. You look at his numbers going on right now. I mentioned his 2nd straight start. In this record, this guy's racked up 7-game winning streak for Ottinger. He's gone 158 goals against average, 94.3% save percentage, 2 shutouts over that span. Hopefully you were tailing them, boys, because holy shit, they haven't even been egregious favorites when you look at some of these numbers that have been going on out there. Against Chicago, sure, minus 347, but minus 120, minus 160, minus 120, plus 107s. They're just mispricing this team because the key factor is Ottinger coming back in there playing phenomenal. The Sabres also unders lately. 8 of their last 10 road games have gone under the mark out there. It's because of the performance of Luukkonen. He's gone 2.57 goals against average. The team defense is starting to step up. Some of those guys that were injured midseason that they kind of put on ice have started to come back as well. And if you look over that last strap where we talked about the last 45-day sample as we get ready for the playoffs here, there's 1 week, I think next Thursday is the last official day of the NHL. Not this Thursday, but next Thursday. So we'll call it a little over a week. However, in that last 45-day sample for the Buffalo Sabres, they've allowed just 3 goals a game on the road. So, they've been able to go out there and keep things kind of to a lower perspective, a lower scoring opportunity. And then you say, well, what's Dallas done over that 45-day stretch? They've given up just 2.3 goals a game on their home ice out there in that spot. So, look, I get it. You want to get in with Buffalo. It's a cute number. It's not for me, though. I think this is a total play. I think it's a defensive play. We've seen that already. The numbers are out there. If I was going to take anybody in this side, it would be to lay the -1.5 with Dallas. But I think the confident play for me, the opportunity to get that cash, is the under 6.5. Ottinger's 1.58, 94.3% save percentage over his last 7 games is just too much to contend with. Buffalo not scoring on the road as well. That gives us play number 2. And onward and upward, we've got one more hockey play. Then we've got ourselves a little 3-leg parlay. So you're going to want to stay tuned here. I'm particularly excited about this next game here. Anytime I can find a reason that plus money makes a lot of sense to me, I get jacked up about it. So, in fact, 8 p.m. Eastern, the Winnipeg Jets going on the road, the Nashville Predators, big opportunity. This game opened up with Winnipeg Jets as a -105 road dog, if you will, and it's moved now 3 cents. They're -108s, -110s, pretty much on both sides. Slight coin flip, but the cash has come in on Winnipeg to move them up to a coin flip in this spot. We've got Hellebuck going for the Winnipeg Jets, 34-19-4. Then we've got UC Saros going on the other side for the Nashville Predators, 34-23-4. Hellebuck, 2.41 goals against average, 92% save percentage. Key factor there. 2.8 goals against average for Saros, 90.8% save percentage out there. And look, tricky spot, right? When you look at this thing, there's a lot of reasons that I kind of wanted to look at it. Winnipeg certainly went through a stretch of losses, right? They just picked up, I believe it was 7 straight losses in a row. April 1st turned, and the corner turned for these guys here. With the playoffs on the line, their Vezina Trophy goaltending of Connor Hellebuck and this last 3-game win streak to me gives me the confidence to back this Jets team. They just downed LA Kings 4-3 at home. Mind you, that LA Kings team is a team that's fighting for a wild card spot in the playoffs. They splashed Calgary 5-2. Calgary's been winning some games as of late. And then they took down Minnesota at Minnesota 4-2 as well. So all teams that were relatively closer on the bubble in the playoff hunt out there. Where I went with this game, I kind of wanted to attack it, and I thought it's not correlated. So I think this is why the number is so fancy for us here. One of the best defensemen in the game. Roman Josi. This guy is a stud. I love when they have a guy that's a key, like a field general out there. Think of a quarterback in the NFL. He's lined up on the point. The puck funnels back around the outside to this guy. He's either the outlet guy to generate a point. He's generated a point in 7 straight games. He's averaging a point a game on the entire NHL season. Also, he's only 2 goals away from tying his career high in goals as a defenseman. He's averaging 3.3 shots on goal per game. I coupled him with the other side of things in Hellebuck. I expect the Jets to be up in this game. They're going to have to go to this guy. He's going to have to get that puck on net, and it's plus 282 for the Winnipeg Jets money line and Roman Josi over 3.5 shots on goal. And for anybody that's looking for the kicker or the sprinkle, Yosi's goal is plus 360 right now. So, yeah, I mentioned the Jets, that losing streak. It was 6 in a row. My bad. I said 7. It was 6. But then Hellebuck's gone off and stood on his head. In his last 2 contests, he's allowed very few goals in those spots out there, specifically 2 goals a piece. When your goalie's less than 3, you're winning games. I like to couple with these 2 spots here. And if you want to get cute and you want to add a sprinkle, there's a bunch of ways to play this one. I'm just choosing to get almost 3-to-1 cash. I will have a sprinkle on the Roman Josi goal spot, only because with a week's worth of games left, he only needs 2 goals to tie his career high. I think he's ready to go out there and get it done. But for me, I want the Jets to win the game. I'm going to take the Josi over 3.5 shots, and it's going to be a plus 282 spot. JPC says, I separated bets on them, but I parlayed Tampa Bay and the Avs and the Kings in the NHL. Jay Stone in the house says Mike M had to rewind. Justin McCalvey says, Oldie, I ain't with the 9 to 5 thing. Yeah, that's right, man. Screw him. Brent Cook says, Stars get this done in regulation. Marcus McCarthy says, let's go Bucks. We're going to have our guy Billy talk about that here momentarily. He also says Pat Bev is starting for the Bucks today. And Ricky Levine says, watch out for Dallas in the playoffs. Yeah, I just don't think the West wins the cup, Ricky Levine. I totally agree with you. I think they're going to be one of the guys to arise out of the West, but I think it's either Carolina or the Rangers that get it done. So let's see what happens. Great. I don't know what's that called there. Your button for YouTube, Steve G. I love the Nordiques look there. Let's go with them Nordiques and let's talk about some major league. I'm sorry. I forgot. I'm one game short here. Let me drop this in the chat for you guys here. Big ass parlay, big game hunting today. 3 of our 4 NHL spots are plus money attacks out there. It's in the chat for you guys. I'm going Colorado. I'm going the LA Kings. And then I'm adding for that little splash of value, a little cream in the coffee. I'm going with this Arizona Coyote spot against the Seattle Kraken. Just real quick by the numbers, I'll bust it down and then we'll get you guys going. We've got the revenge spot. I mentioned that earlier. We've got there's as far as the revenge spot, by the way, I mentioned the team earlier in Toronto. We have Carolina in the revenge spot. We have the LA Kings in the revenge spot. So there's lots to be played for here with this revenge situation. The Avs are still trying to rock the pace in the Central Division right now. Dallas nipping on their asses. You guys are all talking about Dallas getting this win tonight. Colorado's got to come ready to attack. They're 29-8-1 on the season. When it comes to their last 45 days, their home prowess out there, they're scoring 4.3 goals. They're allowing just 2.6 goals a game for the Colorado Avalanche. I mentioned the Kings. They're in that rematch spot, the revenge spot out there. Also, they are in a rematch spot there. When you won, you beat the team you won, and it went under. A favorite on the road, you're 49-19. Then we've got this last kind of, by the way, the Anaheim Ducks, 1-5-2 in their last 8. That's enough for me. Dostal, his 5th straight start. He's allowed 3 or fewer goals, but the problem with this, here's where you got a red flag if you're analyzing some of these hockey games. You got a guy in Dostal who's starting 5 straight. He's allowed 3 or fewer. The team's just 1-2-1 over that stretch of games out there. There's just no firepower. There's no continuity on offense to get it done. As we look at that last spot out there, I'm fading Grubauer. Something's not right with this guy. I know he came back. They're going back to Grubauer. He has allowed 2 or fewer goals, but look, his most recent performance was against Anaheim. I think we're getting a little crafty opportunity at a plus 125. All the cash coming in on the Coyotes as well. The line has dropped a little bit there. So 3-legger, just to try to be quick to move through this pace here for you guys. An official play for me. I do believe all 3 of those spots individually, minus 1.5, for Colorado and the Kings were the alternate way I was thinking of attacking it. But just to keep the action clean, I wanted to get it all bundled together with spots I do believe I'm confident behind those guys getting the job done. So let's move on and talk about some Major League Baseball. And do we have our guy backstage ready to talk about it? I know he's just here for a few minutes. Without further ado, let's bring on Monday, the star of Say Hayes segment of the day here, our guy Jose Bouquet, kicking ass, taking names across Major League Baseball. Jose Bouquet, what's going on?
Mikey, how's it going? It's decent day yesterday for us. We're 1-1 in that split. I went 1-2 on my day. So today, a big day here. I've got now 3 bets. I pushed a bet earlier, but exciting day. Excited to talk to you about these bets.
Which game did you push earlier?
The Red Sox game in classic fashion. I took the under 8. And Alex Cora really fucked me there. He just left Winkowski out there so the bullpen wouldn't get wasted, and just a bunch of late runs just really annoyed me. But yeah,
1 week
under on the Red Sox game.
1 week into the season, not playing Boston Red Sox games, and all of a sudden you got Red Sox action.
Well, at least I'm not betting on the Red Sox.
Okay.
I've faded the Red Sox as well at this season as well so far, but I haven't bet on them, so it's a good start for me.
All right. Well, let's get to work. We do have work to do indeed here. And I'm trying to look at the card here from a timing perspective. I want to make sure that we get it right. So let's indeed start here. I know it's a big spot for you here, and I'm excited to hear the breakdown. 7:45 Eastern. We're rolling back to the scene of the crime that was the robbery with that first game of the series fade on the St. Louis Cardinals, Jose. We got the Phillies on the road, game number 2 of the series, the St. Louis Cardinals. And a line that's moving in the Phillies' direction, opened at minus 126, now minus 135. But here we go. 95% of the bets and 99% of the cash on the Phillies. I know how you feel about that. Now we look at the total. We saw 7.5s. 7.5 sitting out there, 82% of the bets, 95% of the cash on the under in this Philadelphia St. Louis game. Jose, we cashed yesterday. How are we going back here? Are we going to hit him again over the head? Tell us what's going on.
Yeah, I'm on the first 5 under here. Sounds square. It feels square with all that money on the under there, but I just played out and simply think that Sonny Gray and Zach Wheeler go out there and shove. Shout out to my dad. Jimmy the Bag is also on this as well. My first 5 total record sucks dick and balls, and it's very annoying. But I think we can get one right here, and hopefully with the guidance of my father, Jimmy, he guides me in the right direction here. So we're both on it. I think Sonny Gray pitches well. I was surprised to see such a short line for Wheeler, and the fact that the line's moving towards it makes me feel a little better, but 99% of the money, yeah, it'd be Cardinals or pass here for me, but I am on the under. Full game or first 5 under 4 minus 120.
First 5 under 4 minus 120 for our Stay Hey prodigy extraordinaire here. He's giving us that first 5 under. You know what? From a comforting, maybe it's comforting, maybe it's not. Maybe you prefer not to hear this kind of stuff. But the Philadelphia Phillies, relevant because it does exist again tomorrow in the month of April. The Phillies on the road. Going back to the 2022 season are 10-18 to the under, Jose. The average line we're seeing is 8.5, and they're just sneaking in there with an 8 in those spots, but 10-18 to the under. We did see yesterday it cashed under 8.5. Today they've moved this line down to 7.5, but we will have to keep our eyes on tomorrow's game as well. Aaron Nola, Lance Lynn, the Bulldog, going to take the bump, and we know what happens. There's already runners on third base for Lance Lynn. Let's
Yeah, I'm already immediately interested in the Phillies tomorrow.
Well, let's roll on here. We've got a couple more games to talk about. We'll bring our guy Billy Briz in there. Kicked ass and took names last week. I'm excited to see what he has to say here. Jose, I'm going to get your opinion on this game. It's a 7:07 start, so we'll get this one on the radar here. It's the Seattle Mariners, the Toronto Blue Jays. We got a line that opened up at minus 102 for the Blue Jays. Slight home dogs, if you will. 19% of the bets, 85% of the cash on the Toronto Blue Jays. It's moved 6 cents in their direction. We see about a 9-cent drop from the Seattle Mariners, minus 116 to a minus 105 on that favorite side of the house. Then we look at the total. It opened at 8, 44% of the bets, 74% of the cash on the under. Bets coming in on the under, but more cash coming in on the under. Yet we still see some 8.5s out there in this game, almost suggesting that Kirby or Bassett, one is getting touched up, Jose. And I don't know if you've had a chance to look at it. Obviously, it's the Rogers Center. One of the challenges I have is if I lost a game yesterday and I thought I was on the right side of it, then I'll go back to it and not try to flip-flop. I don't want to necessarily play the same side over and over. But in this case here, I'm going to the other gears here. I'm going to Toronto. I'm following the cash flow. I'm following the line movement. And I'm following Chris Bassett, 18-0 in the regular season when he's a favorite, and he allowed at least 4 runs his previous start. This guy bounces back like nobody better in Major League Baseball with an 18-0 spot, Jose. And my only apprehension in this game is, I was on Seattle yesterday, and theoretically it should have been a play-on spot for me with stupid logic. Then I saw this 18-0 bounce back, Chris Bassett. You think he's got it in him? Can he bounce back, or am I just on an island here? I see Bo Jackson likes the Mariners. Tell me what you think.
Yeah, it's a tough game. I didn't end up moving on it, as you know. I went back and forth because I like both these pitchers, and I'm a little worried that Bassett might take like a month or so to get going because just because he's an old man. So I didn't move on this game. The line movement in this game is interesting, and you know me, Mike, I typically follow the line movement and where the market's telling you to go. So if it's telling you to go where the Blue Jays are, then I definitely don't hate it. And Trish, I got you. Don't worry. I got it. Don't worry. The bat's still here. It's always around. And yeah, it's with me always.
I'll tell you, I had I don't know. I feel like I told the story. I at least thought about telling the story before with the bat, though. I had when I was a young buck out there, I was moving down to Philadelphia. I was traveling for work, and I had a sales manager that was out of our Philadelphia office. And every time this son of a bitch talked with me, he had the bat in his hand, and he was just constantly like swinging it near my fucking head. And it was a power device for him. It was a power tool out there to,
Yes.
to kind of capture the power of the room. So I don't know if you're trying to capture the power of this conversation here today or not, but you're not going to intimidate me with that bet. I learned my lesson from a 21-year-old young pimp slap.
No, I understand. I definitely use this just to intimidate people on the show. So whenever they come on the weekends, they know I mean fucking business when I've got the bat going on. So this bat is one day just going to just splinter in half in my hands, though. It is broken.
I can see
so
it
it's
now.
going to be fun when that happen.
I can see it by the handle where it's verklempt there. It looks like, yeah, look at that, huh? Wow.
Oh. Yeah, so one day it's just gonna go and just break on me, and it's gonna laugh. But till then, we hold on to the bat. Shout out to the bat.
Well, shout out to the bat. Let's see if we can't use it for some good here to bat these bookies down as we talk about this 9:38 game. It's the Tampa Bay Rays on the road against them LA Angels. The Halos are in action tonight and slight home favorites. We do have 59% of the bets. We have, where'd it go? 59% of the bets and 76% of the cash on the Tampa Bay Rays. The line went from -124 to -122. Slight, if any, movement. I would say it's negligible because you look at the Angel side of things, they went from +106 to +107. Then we look at the total, 75% of the bets on the over. No cash, no visibility in the cash, but we see that it opened at 8.5, and we see that it's sitting at 8.5, Jose. It's almost like we've done this before. I know you got a hard stop, and here we are talking about the last game, but you and I both have action in it. So I want to hear how you're planning to attack this Tampa Bay Rays game. We'll talk a little bit about the action I have, and then we'll get you up out of here. How about that?
How about it? Yeah, I like the under in this game, Mikey. Shout out to our guy, Wine Time Sports, who you met at Palooza. He's going to be at this game as well. And he's the guy. Yeah, he's the one that really got us all on the under. Patrick Sandoval pitches better at home. I think he's a quality pitcher. And the Rays lineup not that great. We know the Angels aren't good. This all just summed up to an under, courtesy of Wine Time Sports here. So I'm excited for this game. I have to pull up the market again to see. I'm a little scared to pull up the market after I bet the games, Mikey, and it's been a few hours because you never know what the fuck's going to happen. But like you mentioned earlier, it's just 75% of the bets on the over, I believe. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Or I fucking lost it. But yeah, 75% of the bets. Go ahead.
But no movement. So it's an important note there.
Exactly.
That, the cash coming in, the line hasn't moved. You know, we talk about the bets and the cash, you guys. The bets kind of constitute the parlays, the teasers, the $5 betters. It's kind of like everything rolled into the soup. Then we look at the cash and we see where's the money coming in? Where's the big money? The guy with 10 grand in a backpack saying, check me on this action. And then we want to see not just where the bets and the cash are, but how the books respond. And in this case here, books have said, hey, if you want to take the over, go ahead. In fact, we'll leave it here for you so you can think about it all fucking day long, Jose. How about that?
Yeah, that's why we take the under. And we rock and roll. We take the full game under as well. So can't wait to watch this game.
Well, here's what I did, Jose. I looked at these guys, obviously Savale and Sandoval. One of the things I've been noticing, when these pitching props drop from 6.5 to 5.5, so you got to take these overs. I got raked over the weekend on some of those last minute line moves, and they all ended at 6s. So I see that with Savale. He's sitting at 5.5. Regardless of the situation, I see Sandoval's at 5.5 as well, Jose. But how about this? Somehow, and maybe it's because of how bad this team is, that LA Angels team, but Sandoval pitching with the LA Angels in his last 28 games, he's 8-20 in those spots out there. Sandoval as an Angel in these spots, 8-20. I'm going to fade away on that. Plus, I see this Rays team. It was a difficult travel spot. It was the first game out of Coors. Always difficult to readjust at sea level, especially here when you're going out to the Angels ballpark after being up there at altitude. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt that last game was just an anomaly here. I think it's a bash away on our guy here in Patrick Sandoval, and I see a -122 now for this Tampa Bay spot, Jose. What do you think about that 8-20 Sandoval record?
I'm just praying to God that he loses this game 3-0. 3-0. We can all cash, all be happy with ourselves, and we can move on with our days. So how about a 5-0 victory for Mike N? I'd be okay with that.
Well, then I'll be pissed if I didn't play the -3.5, Jose, or even 4.5. So,
by the way, Mikey, Nasty Nate's asking a good question. What's the ribeye today?
if I was going to go with a ribeye in this game, well, across Major League Baseball, I gave a bunch of them out with Sharpie today earlier, but in keeping things real, there's only one guy that I did not get a ribby on that I wanted to take advantage of here. He's priced at plus 160. It's Paradis, baby. Sir Isaac Paradis rolling out there to the Angels against Sandoval.
Paradis.
And he's a plus 160 for me. So I had to jump in on that guy, specific to where he's hitting in the order. I just think everything about what's going on right now. The 4 spot there in the order as well. He's got great guys in front of him that have kind of been struggling as of late. And I think I have a good read on this Tampa Bay team for what it's regards to these RBI. So I do like Sir Isaac, to get the job done for us at plus 160. Nasty Nate, how about that?
There you go. Sir Isaac Paradis.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Jose, I know you got a lot going on. I know you're a busy man. We appreciate you giving us the time and the effort today. We want to see you succeed, mostly because we're aligned in a lot of spots, and I want to succeed. But we love your energy. We love your passion. And, this bat thing, we're only a couple days away before I suspect splinters in the hand. So make sure you put your gloves on. But tell me what's going on. Will we see, inquiring minds want to know, will we see action here with the Greyhounds this week? Will we be rolling back to the ponies?
That's a big field thing. I just have to see how the chat's going. Maybe I'll ask Helga if we'll run the dogs or the ponies. She gave me a really funny look when I was holding the bat earlier. She doesn't understand the concept of holding wood during a show. So
it's a power persuasion tool is what it is out there. He's trying to steal the thunder. That is this guy.
I'm trying to steal the thunder. Yes. This is my Thor hammer here, but it's nice seeing you as always, Mikey. I believe in you. You're going to close this show out like a champion by yourself.
Well,
you're a technical wizard.
I'm going to have Billy with me. So, I just let him make the plays, and I just give the head nod and say, okay, can't wait to see the 7-0 tomorrow. So let's go on that note.
Yeah, fuck, Billy fucking, every time I see Billy, he's going undefeated on his plays. And it doesn't matter if it's fucking WNBA, college, or the NBA. It's hilarious, especially his WNBA plays. It's like Diana Taurasi 30+ points and the Phoenix Mercury to win, fucking plus 800, bam, in your face. So shout out to Billy Briz there, because fucking he does it better than most people. So shout out to you, Billy.
Man, I'll tell you what, the common theme here, you guys work hard, you take it serious, and I love to surround myself with people that are of the same work ethic as I, Jose. So shout out to you. Appreciate you doing what you did today. I know you got probably an 8-hour show tomorrow with Jimmy. So, we'll let you guys get to work, get studying on the books, maybe treat Helga to a nice dinner tonight. A lot of tacos down there in San Antonio, but I would root for the barbecue or a nice steakhouse personally, but I don't get a say in that question. That's up to you guys.
I'll pass that message along to Helga and see what she says. But don't worry, Mike, because tomorrow features the return of Tea Time. So I'm excited for that.
And there we go. Shout out to Jose Bouquet. Hard-working young guy out there, going to be a monster in the business, and he already is kicking ass and taking names, so let's see if he can't get that cash. But look, fun in games. We got to get to work here. We got 3 7 p.m. NBA games. We got a monster slate today, and I know Billy's been working all day to figure out exactly which games are the ones, much like we talked about in hockey, which ones make the difference. We talked about him, his work ethic, his performance. He's a results-oriented cat. I love sharing the screen with him. Let's bring him in here. Billy Briz at Getting Bills. What's up, my guy? How are you?
I'm doing good, man. Sweating through the last week of the season. You know how that shit goes in the NBA. A lot of waiting on injury news reports.
Man, I'll tell you what, with hockey especially, and I'm so glad to have you involved with the NBA and then LJ getting involved too. So a lot of shit that goes on, and most of it doesn't matter. And it's like, how do you find those couple of spots that really do? So, it's almost like you've spent a couple of weeks talking about the end of the season, and then you're finally in the end of the season, and it's like, all right, let's just get this shit over with here. But we do have a nice card today. There's plenty of games, plenty of opportunity for us to sift through and try to get this no nonsense cash in our pockets, Billy. I'm excited to hear what you have to say. I went a little deeper than expected here. But I do feel like, you'll set me back on the right course if I need to. So, just kind of the same theme with the NHL. I'll share with you guys some of the splits in the cash flow, but we didn't have action. We're not trying to force it. We like to get our volume in there. We like to make the spots where they make sense, but a couple of these games just don't make sense. So let's talk about this Dallas Mavericks Charlotte Hornets spot, a line that opened at -9. It's now sitting at 12.5. We have 69% of the bets, no visibility into the cash, right? So I wanted to read the splits off for you guys at the latest, kind of, 10 minutes to tip off for these games, what's going on with these markets. And they have moved 3.5 points to the Dallas Mavericks. The total's moving up as well. It's moved up 5 points from 219.5 to 224.5. We have 55% of the bets on the over and just a ton of cash. I mean, disgusting. -425 open for the Dallas Mavericks, now -750. 57% of the bets, but 97% of the cash. Billy, as far as this game's concerned, it's a common theme for me that does come up multiple times today. I will have one play on it, but big favorites have been covering overs at almost a 72% clip this NBA season. The overs have been cashing at a ridiculous rate, but here you go. You got a 1-4 Charlotte Hornets team, a 4-1 Dallas Mavericks team. Too many points for me. I just don't want to get involved. I would lean to the over if I had to play it all at best. What about you?
I would actually lean towards some of the rotational players for the Hornets. I don't know how I fucking ended up watching Hornets games last week, but I ended up watching back-to-back Hornets games last week. And I would say the two bench players, Davis Bertans, his point prop tonight's 2.5 at plus money. So I think he gets 2 threes. If his point prop's at 8.5, I mean, shit, how wrong could you be, right? I mean, it's 2 threes, that's 6 points. You're almost right there. And then former Oklahoma City Thunder player Alexei Pozazetsky, he's been probably like the main contributor off the bench for the Hornets. His point prop is really low tonight at 6.5. I think a lot of attention is going to come towards the Grant Williams Revanga matchup here. Luka Doncic talking a bunch of shit about Grant Williams, about how much he didn't like him, and about how the one time in practice, the rumor has it Grant Williams was kind of egging on Luka, and Luka said, fuck it, I'm going to turn it on. And he turned it on all right, and supposedly he scored like 15 to 17 straight points just on Grant Williams. It was absurd practice. So I think Grant Williams might have a get back, but that's nothing I want to put my money on. Maybe PJ Washington going back to Charlotte. He lived in Charlotte for a long time. For those tanking teams, he's probably got a couple ladies on the sidelines he wants to hit some shots for.
Well, that's some great insight there with the player props coming off the bench. I think that's a great way to attack the game itself. 7 p.m. Here's another game that kind of really not a lot of fanfare about right now. The Indiana Pacers going north of the 6, Jurassic Park, -6.5. Has moved to 14, 56% of the bets, 95% of the cash are on the Indiana Pacers. 56% of the bets, 95% of the cash. And a total that really hasn't done much. It's oscillated a little bit, right? Just a little movement on both sides. 28% of the bets, but 94% of the cash have taken to the over in this Pacers game. And yeah, another one. Look, you know what? Siakam, you guys know I love the Siakam prop spots out there. They moved his rebound numbers up to from 7.5 to 8.5. And what scares me the most in this game, Billy, is blowout city. Do the Raptors find a way to hang on? This would be another one I would probably lean to the over, but 4-1 in their last 5 are the Pacers. Back-to-back wins for this Toronto Raptors team. What do you think happens here?
Well, the Raptors are in that weird case scenario where because I'm not a Raptors fan, so correct me in the chat if I'm wrong. If their pick is 1 through 7, they keep it. But if it goes to the lottery, then it goes to the San Antonio Spurs. So coming off of 2 back-to-back wins, I wouldn't be betting on Toronto for the rest of the year. But this is their last home game. It is a cap that goes into it for me a little bit. Is a lot of these tanking teams, they kind of do show up in their last home game. The fans in the stadium. I would say just a lot of people in general can't afford NBA tickets. So the last week of the season for these tanking teams, when the tickets are like 10 to 15 bucks, you kind of want to put on a show for your fans and stuff like that. I remember some Sixer games where we were having some tanking seasons, and those last couple games of the season were some of the most entertaining games of the season of the year. I think Toronto could cover a 14.5 line. I think this line's a little bit absurd. I'm not going to the window and betting it, but it reluctantly would be Toronto or pass for me. The one thing that Indiana does is limit 3-point shooters. I feel like Toronto doesn't really have a bunch of 3-point shooters on the court. They're going to try to drive and attack the basket. So if Emmanuel Quickly was in, I'd probably get to the window with this. But no Quickly, no Billy.
Yeah. Well said. Good sentiment there about the low ticket prices and showing up. It's a clown show at the end, and you got really trying not to get hurt. You're just trying to get out there and finish the game. It's one thing to have a bad attitude coming in, but once you get there, the smells of the arena, the excitement of the kids in the crowd trying to high five you, even though you might not give a shit, I think you still do turn it on. I just think this is too many numbers to try to figure out who's turning this one on. But another 7:00 special here. It's one that maybe is a little more near and dear to our hearts. The Detroit Pistons, the Philly 76ers, 77% of the bets and 87% of the cash on the Sixers. It went from 13.5 to 16 points, 2.5-point move. And we saw our guy Ramon Scott dropping in the chat earlier. No Maxey in this game. A total that's moved up from 219 to 221.5 as well. 69% of the bets on the over. And we do have correlated line movement there, Billy. I don't want any part of this game either.
Yeah, no Maxey, no problem here. I think the only angle in this one, I just want to check to see where this line ended up closing at, because this game's about to go off. I would actually go Joel Embiid over first quarter points. It opened up at 7.5, juiced at minus 135, and deservedly so. I mean, we always talk about this when we cap a Sixers game. Regardless of who we're playing, what the matchup is, as long as Joel Embiid is active in the lineup, he plays 9 out of 12 of the first minutes. Usually when he's not injured, he plays the whole entire first quarter. He has like the Luka Doncic, Nikolai Jokic rotation, or SGA. Like, they just play the whole entire first quarter. And Embiid just lights up the Detroit Pistons every time he's played them this year. And I wouldn't be shocked if today was any different. I think you have to tell yourself a game script here in this game. Do you think the Sixers blow them out, or do you think they keep it, or does the other team keep it competitive? Because some of these Sixer player props in regard of Maxey being out are kind of somewhat low. Cameron Payne, 10.5 points, minus 128. He's never seen a shot he doesn't like. Another one, Malachi Flynn coming off the bench for Detroit. I mean, he's coming off that 50-point game last week. His prop is only hovering around 9.5. And then shouts to D'Anthony Melton. D'Anthony Melton smelling the flowers and roses. He knows the playoffs are right around the corner. He's back in the lineup tonight for the Philadelphia 76ers. And I remember at one point around Christmas, we were paying 23.5 for his PRA. 5.5, and we weren't blinking an eye. Now seeing it at 6.5 points, he's probably on a minutes limit tonight, but it's a very short line.
Excellent player assessment. I remember 25.5. Mountain Man, he was a guy that could heat up, and then he was just dying, and it was like, fuck, he just either you had him and you celebrated, or you missed him, and then he screwed up. He had so many spots and shots that he took points away from other guys out there. So it was an interesting spot. But how about 7:30, Billy? The Heat and the Hawks here. I know we're kind of look. It's the schedule that's been thrust in front of us here. And as we look at this game, a line that opened at 2 is now 3.5. 93% of the bets on the Miami Heat. Line that opens at 221 is dropped. Reverse line movement alert here in this game. The line is now 217. 68% of the bets and 99% of the cash on the over. It's dropped, and that immediately tells me that somebody's not playing in this game here.
Harry Rozier, neck problem. He said he shouldn't even have played in the last game. I was shocked that there was even like thoughts of him even playing today.
Yeah, I just not a game I want to get anything. I don't want to get anywhere near this one either. I mean, I would have to lean to the under. I would have to go under looking at these numbers and the way things have played. Miami Heat don't want to get themselves. The Miami Heat to me seem like a team that doesn't want to exert a lot of energy and effort. So it's just easier for them to play some defensive ball and shut teams down than have to go run up and down the court and see a 270 in this game. But, I say that, and then I look at the schedule and what's been happening with this Miami Heat team. They got 5 fucking overs in a row. So
yeah, since Tyler Hero came back in the lineup, I mean, we always shit on the Heat offense, but when Tyler Hero is putting up damn near 30 points a game, games are going to go over. I feel like the market hasn't adjusted towards Miami. We actually saw this last year going into the play-in tournament. Miami was by far the lowest scoring team in the league, and then that week, the last week of the season, and then the first week of the play-in tournament, all their games are going fucking over. It was ridiculous. I kind of want to lean towards Miami. This is a front end of a back-to-back. They play home versus Dallas tomorrow, but it feels like too square of a play. I thought this number was going to drop a little bit with Terry Rozier. I was trying to wait. You kind of have to gamble on the injury reports. You have to make the assignment before it comes out. Like, you have to say, well, if Terry Rozier is probably going to be ruled out, I should wait on the Heat and try to get a better line. Well, the line didn't fucking move. So if anything, it kind of went towards Atlanta, if anything. And when I say went towards Atlanta, spread-wise, not really money line. The money line hasn't really changed at all. And at 3.5 points, I'm just going to pay for the money line. But I didn't get to the window with this one with Miami. But it's a hard lean towards Miami. I wouldn't be going to the window and betting Atlanta here in this spot.
Yeah, well said. I just, again, it's just tricky situation this time. It's surprising. It's a lot of passes here. I feel like a quarterback in the NFL, but at the same time, I do have plays and action that I'm excited about in the NBA. This just isn't one of them, as I kind of was looking at it overall, I thought, well, I like the later card in this thing more than anything. I know this game coming up next is something that made your radar. Let's talk about it. Nasty Nate's alluded to his second quarter. Makes sense of this number for me. It's the Boston Celtics on the road at the Milwaukee Bucks, a line that opened Boston +1, now 3.5, 48% of the bet, 79% of the cash. Do we have true reverse line movement out there? I mean, it's got to be clearly injury related. Then we go 229.5. Really marginal movement to the over. We had 66% of the bets, 99% of the cash on the over in this game. Maybe a half a point, depending on the book that you're at. There's been a little bit of tickage around the over in this thing, I guess, Billy. But this number at 3.5, what's going on? Is this free money? It's free money. I just don't know what side it is here. The Bucks have lost 4 in a row. They got gunned down by the Knicks at home, Toronto at home, and Memphis at home, but they were on the road against Washington. You lose to those teams all in a row, your resume is marred with just big old scars. And then you look on the other side of things, and the Celtics are kicking the shit out of everybody out there. They're laying 12 at home against OKC. No problem, 35-point win. 9-point loss to the 9-point spread to the Kings there, but they did end up winning. And then they got Portland -17.5. Didn't cover the spread, but still 124-107. Now all of a sudden we got ourselves sitting with a +3.5. Billy, the floor is yours. Make sense of this nonsense for us and tell us how you're getting paid.
Yeah, fuck it. I did it. I went to the window with it. Top play of the day, Milwaukee Bucks straight up here on the money line. You want to fuck around with the spread where it's at right now, and the each is your own. You're fading the Boston Celtics. Don't get cute with it. Nobody wants to back the Bucks here in this spot. 4-game losing streak, 3 of those losses as double-digit favorites. Head-to-head wise, the Celtics have won 6 out of the last 8, and the home team has actually won 6 out of the last 7 games in this matchup. This is the definition of the last week of the NBA season. The Celtics automatically have the number 1 seed locked up. The Bucks have everything to play for. While everyone's still hammer Celtics in this spot, I like the Milwaukee Bucks in this spot. This is just the definition of a buy low. I know one of the narrative theories is nobody wants the fucking 2 seed in the Eastern Conference right now, and that I feel like gets decided in the next 2 games for the Milwaukee Bucks when they play Orlando. Them and Orlando are kind of like neck and neck. Orlando is saying they're pumping their chest out saying we want the 2 seed. And Milwaukee's like, yeah, go ahead and take the 2 seed and play the Philadelphia 76ers and watch what happens. So like I do have that worry, but I'm not throwing that into this cat, man. Milwaukee Bucks on the money line. Don't overthink it. Get paid. Nobody wants to back the Bucks here. All the numbers are going to tell you to back the Celtics here. Nobody's going to tell you Milwaukee's free money, but it damn near feels like it, man. I mean, it opened up +110, going the other way, and everyone was saying Celtics, and it's still 3.5. I don't think the Porzingis and the Al Horford news is as big as the line movement has made it, but it's a nice little feather into the cap. TNT game, it doesn't get any lower than where the Milwaukee Bucks have been. And one confirmation of them actually giving a fuck about this game and trying to win is Patrick Beverley's in the lineup over Malik Beasley. So that's a defensive purpose reasons.
Excellent breakdown. Billy Briz saying, don't overthink it. He's got the Bucks here. Billy, I see a minus 155. Is that no problem for you? No bueno for this thing, or no problem? What do you got?
Yeah, you can throw in the minus 155 as an official.
Let's move on. We got ourselves quite the NBA card here. The NBA and the way that they manage their product is just shameful.
Disgusting.
All season long, it's like this game doesn't matter, that game doesn't matter. Then you get to the last part of the season, you got a week and a half of games, and none of them matter. So here we go. Sacramento Kings, the OKC Thunder line opened up at -1, now -5s, 5.5s out there. But 48% of the bets and 71% of the cash on the Kings. Like I said, call that reverse line movement, right? It's open at +1. It's moved to 5.5. Everybody's betting on it. And then we have a total that's dropping. Only 60% of the bets, no visibility in the cash. And look, for me, again, another spot. I'm looking at these schedules and I'm looking at what's going on right now. And yeah, the Thunder, big spot there. First game back after a long road trip, I guess, was my assessment of this game here. I would have to think about the Kings, but I don't think we have a fair description of what's been going on with the Thunder, because we know that, SGA sat out last week just randomly, and then Jalen Williams was out as well. Now, Jalen Williams looks questionable. It looks like he should be good to go tonight, Billy. I don't think you had any plays on this one, but high level, any thoughts on how you might want to share with somebody how to attack this game?
Yeah, I think it's a king spot, but the numbers speaking Oklahoma City. So let me explain. Usually when a team is coming off of an 8-game East Coast road trip and their first game back at home is usually not a spot you want to back a team. And the star player theory with SGA coming back into the lineup, he hasn't played in a little bit, probably takes a second or two to get his shit together. But I will say, though, the thing that kind of throws the cap all off is Oklahoma City can definitely run off a couple of these games to end out the season and get the number 1 seed. So I actually lean towards Oklahoma City. I didn't get to the window with it. It's just a weird travel spot scenario, if that makes sense. 8-game road trip, star player comes back. It's just like, what's the cap? I think Oklahoma City Thunder are better than the Sacramento Kings significantly. I mean, more times than not, you do that in the NBA, you're going to have a losing ticket if you try to bet on the better team that night.
I just thought with the size of the NHL slate for me, the Major League card going, NBA games that I did want to have action in, I couldn't make heads or tails. So, you're right. Probably an OKC spot. The number does say and suggest that's just a weird team. What's their motivation? SGA, just a weird spot.
Line's gone, I feel like. The line opened up at -150. Now we're hovering around 200s, 210s, and stuff like that. I'm not a price-centric guy, but there is a point of the market where it's just got away. It was damn near a -1 line for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now it's -5.5. That's saying basically, you're kind of betting yourself into high variance situations. If you like the Sacramento Kings, I would probably lean towards the over.
To me, this is, it's a great point too, where you mentioned the -200s. Like, there's not enough games to get back a loss that you take on a 2-1 spot against if the OKC decides not to show up. That's why when I approached the hockey card, I was like risk reward. To me, the teams that had the spots that made sense, let's go really try to get that plus cash. And then if they don't have any, there's not much to play for, or we can't find the number, then we just move on from it. And I think we're kind of exuding the same behavior here. But Orlando Magic, Houston Rockets. I'll tell you, this is a spot I wanted to get involved with. Tricky situation, though, because everybody knows the Rockets at home, one of the best spread teams in the country. The line is moving, though. 68% of the bets on the Houston Rockets. It has now moved from +1 to +3s out there. So definite reverse movement. Over 212 is the total. 92% of the bets. We got a 215.5 on the over in this game as well. And Look, for me, Billy, I would take OKC Thunder in this, or I'm sorry, OKC. I would lean to the Orlando Magic. I get what the Rockets have done in their spread covers at home, but this team's been losing as of late. And I think that they peaked earlier in the season with that home stretch that they had rolling. I like the Magic. I don't know that this number is a little too high now, but I know that besides Wagner, everybody else seems to be a go for the Magic. And then you look at this Rocket side of things, and, we still kind of know the same deal. Adams, Tate, Sengun, guys that are just pretty much done right for the season here. But is there a way for you to navigate and get paid in this game? Do you think that, would you lean to the, I guess, tell me what you thought about this game here. I know it's not something that made the official card, but share with us some insight.
Call me crazy. Call me what you want. I don't think he has the highest ceiling on the team, but I think Franz Wagner's the most important piece to the Orlando Magic, just the way that he plays and stuff like that. His ankle's really banged up. If you get an MRI on your ankle, I don't think that shit's healthy. Other hand, vice versa. Say what you want about the Rockets. The season doesn't matter anymore, but this is their last home game of the season. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to go into what is the scouting report? What is the coach saying? And if I had to think of what Udoka's saying to the players right now is, LJ talks about this all the time. The Houston Rockets home atmosphere is electric. If there's fans in the stands, they're going to try to play for their fans tonight. The Houston Rockets want to play spoiler. They don't give a fuck who it is. Last home game of the season for the Houston Rockets, it would be Houston Rockets or nothing for me. Orlando's on the front end of a back-to-back. They play at Milwaukee tomorrow, and I actually think that spot for them is one of those Milwaukee games, either to close out the season or tomorrow.
I like it. Like I said, just part of the no play club for me, but I've got some plays here at 8 p.m. You want to talk about some plays and some action, Billy? The Spurs and the Grizzlies. I'm going into this one. Jump on in the water is fine. We open at 2.5. Big number move now. 5.5 is a shit ton of number. 85% of the bets on the Spurs, no cash. Then we look at the total. It's gone up as well from 215 to 217s. Only 36% of the bets, but 99% of the cash. Expect there to be some scoring here. Billy Briz. We look at the Spurs team. We know Wemby's been out there, defensive player of the year candidate. Should probably have that thing locked up. We see that they're 4-1 covering the spread in their last 5, but predominantly the Spurs have practiced a win one, lose one mentality all season, it seems like here. And the Grizzlies, the G does not stand for G League here, as they took down Detroit. They beat up Milwaukee. They beat Detroit the game before that as well. Then the Sixers gave them fits, 116-96, their last game out. They've now had themselves a rest advantage as well. 3 days of rest coming into this game here with the Grizzlies and the Spurs, Billy. Any thoughts on getting to the window with this game?
I did get to the window with this game, but unfortunately, with the Memphis situation right now, they have an expiry on too many two-way contract players, but they've used too many two-way contracts for the season. So the play I did have was on the Brazilian player over 12.5 points, but he was actually just posted something on his Instagram about 30 minutes ago that he won't be on the Memphis Grizzlies anymore. He said it was a great opportunity. Coming off a fucking 19-point game, he had a double-double against the it doesn't matter. He had a double-double versus the Detroit Pistons. He had the great game against Philly. We're going to make some money on Pierre tonight, but if they post it, FanDuel's always a little bit trepidatious about posting player props on players that are first time in the lineup. But Timmy Allen for remember he played for Texas last year, Timmy Allen. He's going to be in the starting lineup for the Memphis Grizzlies tonight. You can get a player prop on Timmy Allen. I think Timmy Allen's going to get some extended run tonight. But we do have an audible, though. We do have an audible. One player prop gets voided, another one gets added, and I actually like this one a little bit more in the in the Denver and Utah Jazz game. I think that's next, right?
It is. So for me, I locked down the Spurs. I got a -5. I got him at -3.5, but now we're sitting at 5, and I'm still fine with that. This is the bounce back situation. Again, after a loss, now you're a favorite. Your opponent took an L at home, 137-93 spot, just the basic elements of a bounce back. What I like about the breakdown that you just shared is it shows that the Grizzlies just mismanaged this fucking roster. They did everything they could all season long just to try to be viable. And we know that they weren't viable, but I mean, look at the clock has struck midnight. This carriage turns into a pumpkin. I think San Antonio finds a way to get it done here. Just highlighted by the fact that they can't even get their players in the roster because they fucked up the two-way contract. I mean, that's amazing to me. But
bro, you started the kid back-to-back games and played him 35 minutes, led the Mexican G League team in points, and you guys don't have enough two-way contracts. What the fuck is going on in management? I actually like this here.
Yeah, and the Spurs. My thought about how they approach this game, they're not a team that just wants to throw it away. Wemby just keeps going out there playing. So, we'll see what he does. We'll see how it works over the haul. It's a 5-point spread for me. It's still within the realm there. The Billy Briz school of covering spreads here means they got to win this game by like 8. I could see that being the case here with against this Memphis Grizzlies team and who the hell's going to play for them. But onward here. You've talked about it here. We've got we've got ourselves 2 more 8:00 games. So next up, we can talk Wizards and Timberwolves. Is that one's on your radar?
Nah, I wanted to get to the window with this one with Naz Reid over 19.5 points, but that might be a contentious play, like when we're on Who Banging tonight or something like that, and we get a little bit more clarity of what we're going to see from the Minnesota Timberwolves tonight. But Naz Reid has voiced that he's going for that 6 Man of the Year award, and if you watch that game on fucking Sunday versus the Lakers, boy, he made a fucking good case. 19 points in the first half. And this is where his point prop is tonight. Dude was lighting it up. And if you ever get a matchup, an advantageous matchup, it's got to be the fucking Washington Wizards, who don't have Rashawn Holmes, Tristan Vukovic, that's been the starting center. They're going to start Anthony Gill at the center position tonight. Naz Reid, Mike, you just got to check the beat writers and stuff like that. But if Naz Reid really wants to go for this award, I think he can go for a 30 clip tonight. It might be one of those ones, though, where we get a better live line than pre-flop line, meaning like we'll be watching the game, that first quarter rotation. Maybe he's just relaxing. This could be just one of those ones where like Rudy Gobert says, I just want to chill in the second half, and then Naz Reid starts taking over. Like that's kind of how I see him cashing the 19.5 points would be in garbage time. So I feel like I should wait a little bit on it.
I am okay with that assessment as well. Look, I went to the over in this game. When you look at the cash flow splits with the Wizard and the T-Wolves, it opened at 16.5. It's moved to 18.5. I mean, there's no fucking way I would take the Timberwolves and lay an 18.5. I wouldn't want to take them laying an 11.5. 34% of the bets, 88% of the cash. If anything, this would be a shot where I got stupid and I went Wizards plus 18 and sprinkled the money line. But the double-digit favorite there, the big favorite situation I told you guys about, cashing it over a 70% clip in the NBA this season. We got a line that opened at 222.5, 223.5. So we see some 224s, 51% of the bets, 78% of the cash on the over. That's where I'm going to get this cash here tonight. I expect some points. I think it's a low enough total for us with the 70% plus edge in our favor. I love the Reid breakdown there. Get some points, push the number for me. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Wizards end up winning this game. The Timberwolves, they fuck around that much when they get an 18-point spread here. I'm not going to go put my cash on it, but I am going to put my cash on seeing some points in this game. So I got the over, Billy. 223.5 for me. How about Knicks Bulls? Knicks Bulls opened up at +1, now moved to 5. 82% of the bets, 60% of the cash on the New York Knickerbockers. They got them short pants out tonight in Chicago with a 210.5 that's moved to 213. 55% of the bets on the over. No cash breakdown for us here, Billy. And look, I'll be short, sweet. I'll tell you guys all you need to know about it for me. Big edge here. I'm rolling on these Knickerbockers. The Knicks are 13-0 as a road favorite of 3 or more points versus the Eastern Conference. They have been stomping the East, Billy. Then I got another one for you. 31-0 when they're a favorite or a big dog versus a losing team they lost to the last meeting. The typical definition of bounce back. The Knicks specifically, when they're in that spot, come back and cover the spread by over 12 points a game on average in those scenarios. I'm jumping on these New York Knickerbockers. What do you think? You thinking Bulls? You thinking overs? You thinking props? Let's talk about it.
every time I see this game now, I just think about Friday. Friday was such a beautiful, beautiful day. We had the fade Patrick Corbin day with our beloved Phillies, and we had Nola on the mound. And the Knicks were on a second half of a back-to-back in a horrible, horrible spot against Chicago in Chicago. And we slammed Chicago on the money line. That was like play of the day, gave it out on the show. But now we flip-flop a couple days later. The only thing I don't like about this, the reason why I was so convicted on that Chicago spot is these two teams play 3 times against each other throughout the last week of the season. This is the second meeting, and then both of the seasons end with these two teams playing against each other. Just not my favorite spot. Like, I like the Knicks. I think the Knicks should smash in this spot. This is not the same spot for Chicago. That's the reason why I like Chicago on Friday, because I thought the Knicks would win this one today. Don't love the Knicks. One of those type of spots. I think the spot for the Knicks might be one of those last games of the season. Either Sunday, we're gonna have that spot again at home versus Chicago. So if you lose some money on this one, or if you win some money, you might want to double up in that last game of the season. And then Thursday night at Boston, you never know. Thursday night TNT game, New York might want to show up and show out. I'm a big Knickerbocker fan. I didn't get to window with it, but hard lean towards the Knicks. I think that's the right spot for them in this one. I mean, that you can't get any worse than that last spot that they had against the Bulls. Dude, they came back from being down 30 plus points, played damn near the whole entire starters played about 40 minutes, and then they ran it back the next night and nobody got rested. Bad spot for the Knicks last time. I think they bounced back in this one. Actually, like Jalen Brunson over his assist prop in this one. Didn't get to it, but it was a I'm trying to keep the card short. Why bet a bunch of shit if I'm convicted on 2 spots?
Fair enough. Look, we still have ourselves 4 games left, so let's go. We got to pick the pace up a touch here to get these games in before we pop here. And the Denver Nuggets, the Utah Jazz opened at 13.5. They've moved to 15s, 92% of the bet, 65% of the cash on the Denver Nuggets. It has moved a 1.5 in that direction. Utah Jazz, are they gooses cooked at this point with a total that opened at 224.5? 63% of the bets, 46% of the cash on the over. Yeah, we haven't seen any movement here. And I shared this on the hop here. My excitement for this card is the later part of the card here, but not in a Nugget spot where we got a 15 spot out there. Now, the Utah Jazz have just gotten kicked in the face every step of the way. Golden State, 118-110. Clippers, 131-102. Cleveland, 129-113. Sacramento, 127-106. Tight one there against Houston, but still ended up on the wrong side of it. And then you've got the Nuggets coming off that beatdown at home there. They took care of them. Hawks, 142-110, Billy. You know what? Interesting number. Big number. I'm taking the number. I'm taking the Utah Jazz. How about this, Billy? The Nuggets are 0-11 against the spread when they shot at least 59% the previous game. They went 53 of 88 from the field in that bust-up, beat-down blowout there against the Atlanta Hawks. I'm going to fade them here. I think it's too many points. I know there's not a lot of love going on in Utah right now, but look, it's Mormon love. That counts twice, and I'll take a 15-pointer. What do you think?
Don't speak too soon. There's a lot of love going around, and it's our guy from the college days. He's found his way into the league, man. Johnny Juzang, player prop of the day. Johnny Juzang over 11.5 points. I mean, we ended up getting on the live line in the last game. This boy has been on fire. 27 points in his last game versus Golden State on Sunday. Shot 9 for 12 from the field. He was the first Jazz reserve to score 27 points on 12 or fewer field goal attempts since Andre Karolinko in 2002, before anybody even knew who Karolinko is. Johnny Juzang has had the red hot hand, 7 for 11 out of his from 3-point land last couple of games. No hotter way to end out the season right here. You bring in your G League guy, you kind of invested a little bit in him. You kind of want to see what he's got. You want to start Bryce Sensabaugh, and then Johnny Juzang subs it to the game, and he's just hitting everything. It was like Colin Sexton was jealous or something because he wouldn't pass him the fucking ball. It was ridiculous. I had 25.5 points over on Johnny Juzang when he got hot in the first, and I was like, whatever the Jazz want to do for the rest of the fucking season, just play Johnny Juzang, because remember in college, he was just really a mid-range jump shot shooter. Johnny Juzang got a lot better since then. I think they're going to ride out their young guys for the rest of the season and kind of start doing a little bit of player development because for a little bit, we thought Johnny Juzang, when he was at UCLA, was going to be the next thing. I think he's going to have a good showing tonight. Could be a potential blowout. I get it, 17.5 points. Denver's like 0-5 last 5 trips going into Salt Lake City on the spread-wise ATS. But I like Johnny Juzang way too much. I'm telling you, they're going to move this. If he has another good game, they're going to move this line to like 18.5, 20.5. He's been red hot.
Well, I see his points number at 10.5, and it's even money. You like that 10.5 at even money?
Yeah, it took 11.5, minus 120, minus 118 on FanDuel.
Yeah, I see it's maybe some slight movement here. Oh, no, I see it now. I see what you're saying there. 11.5. I still see a 10.5 though, at plus 100. So we'll call it 10.5 here. Talk about your, you talked about the 3-point prop there earlier with one of those first games here. Johnny Juzang over 1.5 threes is minus 175. He's got 6 points. If he just knocks that number down, you just need a couple more points and you're going to cash that thing. So I think that's an excellent way to look at it. Way to go to the rafters and bring in the old backup here, the scrubber of the scrubs here to get it done for us. I'm excited about that. I might have to same game parlay that one now. I say that when it gets to these late games because I get excited as we talk about these props and then we get on some shows later and we start having some fun with it. But let's go on. We've got 3 games left here, 10 p.m. We've got 3 more 10 p.m. spots for us, or 3 10 p.m. spots, I should say. The marquee window to close the day. Shout out Joe T. I see the Brewers up 3-0. The Golden State Warriors, the LA Lakers, the Lake Show, baby. The last time these two teams played, it got to 1,000 points combined between them. The first team to 500 won the game. We've got a spot with Golden State that opened at +2. It is now sitting around 2.5, 3s, even some 3.5. You got a line shot. And a dead even split, 50-50, Billy. The total opened at 232.5. Pretty flippy as far as the coin, 51%, only 49% of the cash on the under in that spot. No cash flow, but the bets wise, 51% of the bets on the over. We've seen it move 2, even 3 points on some books to the over. Billy, the floor is yours. Do we see another first of 500 wins this game?
Warriors come out and play tonight. This is a potential playoff matchup here that we might see in the play, depending on how these two teams finish out the season. But I'm actually leaning towards the over here in this spot. Both of these teams play at a fast pace and struggle to guard the 3-point line. The Warriors have been red hot, winning 7 out of their last 8, scoring 118.5 points per game. The Lakers, prior to the last loss, they were red hot. This is a primetime matchup, 2 good offenses. I feel like the Warriors' defensive numbers have been somewhat skewed over the last couple of weeks because of their level of competition, and same exact thing for the Lakers. Their level of competition has been somewhat subpar, but both these teams are offensively hot. There's no other place to get more excited than in a crypto.com arena game here, TNT, national television. I wouldn't be shocked if the shit hits OT again.
Oh, I like that little sneaky shout out to the overtime prop there. You sent the over for me, and it made a lot of sense to me. These guys last game, I mean, they just run and gun. They show up. It's almost like there's a little pride these boys are finding a way to play with here when these two guys get going. Robert Martin says Golden State has the better coaching, and he says, I think Steve Kerr comes in LA and takes it down.
Coaching doesn't matter in the NBA. That shit only slightly matters in college because with the TV timeouts and stuff like that, you can kind of, as a coach, kind of control the game a little bit more. At the NBA level, coaching does not matter unless you're named Doc Rivers in the playoffs.
Well, that will be fun. I love the points in that play. I think that's a great call. I will tail along and root for you, my guy. 2 games left at 10 p.m. The LA Clippers. Speaking of the other half there, the ugly sister of LA here, the LA Clippers against the Phoenix Suns. We've got a line that opened at 2. It's moved up to 9 with 28% of the bets and 91% of the cash on the Clippers. Kind of null and void as far as that's concerned because we know there's going to be some mitigating player circumstances driving these numbers. And then kind of the same thing on the total, 35% of the bets, 66% of the cash on the under. Really hasn't moved in that case. And, the big question that we see Harden is questionable. We see Theis is questionable. We see Kawhi is going to be out. And then
I don't think Harden's going to play.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking that too. This seems like a tough game, tough spot to be involved with here. If I had to lean to a spot, Billy, I would probably lean to the Suns. But I mean, at what point do you start questioning the number and saying, are they going to go out there and bust these guys up by 15 points? What do you think?
You know the good old theory, like you shouldn't parlay something if you wouldn't bet it straight. I feel like the Suns are a good parlay piece, but man, damn, do I not want to bet that shit straight up though at -9.5 or even on the money line. Like I think it's a good 375. You connect that with something, you get a little 2-piece plus 100. But man, this is just a game. Don't bet this game.
So you know what scares me? What scares me most about this game, to your point, I love that. You know what? I don't know if I've ever really thought about that. Don't play it if I wouldn't play it. Interesting. Because sometimes I play it in the parlay because I'm not going to play it straight. So maybe I've been fucked up with some of the. Anyhow, what scares me the most about this game, Billy, FanDuel Sportsbook. They're hanging the best number.
375. I was looking at it too, Mike.
I mean, that just to me, that's the recipe for disaster. I don't even need to see this game and how it's going to end here. I know, from these numbers out there, anytime they're the best shop and any number, I tell you what, I would say almost absolute. You got to show me a spot where they weren't the best number and then ended up cooking everybody's books out there. So that to me is enough of a red flag. And shout out to them fine folks there. Maybe they can clean their act up and we'll bring them into conversation about being a sponsor. But until then, well, they've got the best hanging number out there. I stay the fuck away from those games, Billy. And
this screams Suns win, don't cover.
Yeah, that's well said. 3-point, 4-point type of win. Last game on the card, though, Pelicans and the Trail Blazers here. Fire Blazers. This line opened up at 9.5. They've moved to 13.5. 4-point swing. 88% of the bets. I mean, you really got to play these fucking games overnight now more than ever.
It's crazy.
And if you look at it here, 2 10.5s, the total, it's moved to 2 13.5, 54% of the bets on this thing. I mean, look, I wanted to get involved with the Pelicans in the first half again. I know they're not home. It looked like McCollum. It looked like Zion were goes. Brandon Ingram, we know, is out of this thing. Dyson Daniels looks like he'll be a guy that's questionable. It's a mash unit of mash units of mash units out there now for the Trailblazers. Can you make heads or tails of this game? Was there any way that you thought maybe even a little lean to try to figure out a way to attack this game?
Yeah, I was actually leaning, didn't get there with it, obviously, because the line is so inflated. But if it's not broke, don't fix it. Pelicans first half, right? I mean, if you look at the Blazers, sixth worst first half ATS team in the league, 33-43 and 2 ATS. And then at home, they have the worst first half record at 12-25 and 1 ATS. So for a spot that we've been riding all year, and the Blazers are the worst home team in the first half, in theory, it should be Pelicans first half. If it was one of those ones where, like when you're in the casino and the time is of the essence and you end up betting you might bet a lean or you might bet more games than what you usually do. If you're in the casino, I would probably take the Pelicans first half to end out my night, but I'm not in the casino. I'm in good old New Jersey, and I can play some bets off of my phone, and I might, but I don't know.
Well, what I see, I love the first half spot. When you see the lines moved as many points as we've got here now, right? 4 points, 5 points of movement. The first half numbers open a little later than most books, on most books. But, typically you'll see there's overnight numbers out there now for games tomorrow, but you won't necessarily see those first halves until they start to get a more clear picture of what's going on. And in this case here, this line opened at 7.5. It's moved to some 8s and 8.5s, but there's still the 7.5 out there. So if I was going to play a spot in this game, I haven't decided officially yet, but I would lean to that first half only because the number hasn't moved as far. But also the caveat there being that they open these lines up later. So worth noting in that spot. But Billy, since I just mentioned this, you got to play these games the night before. Let me throw one out there for everybody. How about this? How about the Denver Nuggets tomorrow? Denver Nuggets tomorrow. Home favorites or small dogs facing a team off a home game. 20-0 against the spread if the line's between -7 and +7, and both teams have no rest. 20-0. Denver Nuggets in a spot to cover this thing by 11 points against the spread. I say that now because 6.5 is out there. Not the huge proponent of dropping this. We're still on tonight's slate, for Christ's sakes, but 6.5 for tomorrow, especially if things go the way I expect them to here with this Nuggets tonight. That might be some good money to take advantage of tomorrow, Billy. 20-0 spot for them boys if the line's between the sevens.
Yeah, just make sure you check the referee report because Scott Foster's ref and I want nothing to do with it, man. I thought me and Scott were homies. We had a great history last year. We were cashing tickets left and right. But I don't know what the fuck is up with Scott Foster in the last month of the season. If you watched that Heat game the other night, oh my, it was so bad that you know how they have the NBA reports after the refs said yeah we fucked up. I was like, how do you just say you fucked up? They said the 3 calls at the end of the game were just bad calls. We're sorry. It kind of made me want it. That's one of the reasons I actually wanted to back the Heat tonight was because of how badly wrong they got on the referee report in their last game. So it might be a little bit of get back there.
Well, I'll have to try to keep my eyes on that then. Brent Cook says, how does Foster still have his job? I said that before, time and again. Everybody knows this guy, and yet here he is. Still, he's the great equalizer. They don't give a fuck. Sounds like some other folks I know. But that being said, Billy, let's go here. Let's put the bow on this puppy here. It was a long show. We had a lot of NBA to cover. You know what's difficult? I don't mind covering the NBA when there's a lot of plays, but man, it's tough just to get to it. And then we don't have anything really jacked up on it. So did a nice job tonight. You found some player props for us coming off the bench, some depth, some bench opportunities, some look ahead spots as well. Tell them what's cooking with you, my guy. And then let's get up out of here and get ourselves a nice little Tuesday night.
Yes, sir. You can follow me over on X at getting_bills_, and then over on Instagram, Billy Briz DFS. You want to come sweat out some games tonight? We're going over to Who Bangin' Sports Talk. And I got to talk to my guy DJ Big Boss, but you might see me on the USFL show this Saturday. We had to see where the season was landing, who the fuck are these people, and where everything lied at. But I have some XFL spots or USFL spots for this weekend that I'm actually surprisingly really confident about.
Well, my guy does it all, of course. USFL, UFC, NBA, college hoops, women's sports galore. My guy Billy Briz getting that cash. Go follow him over on X at getting_bills_ on X. And you guys know you'll see him here again next Tuesday. Billy, much appreciation. Let's give him the shout out and let's get on up out here. We got our guy Brent Cook, Robert Martin in the house. Appreciate you guys, man. Without you guys, it really, man, we have nothing with you guys not coming in showing the support. So on your way out the door, hit that thumbs up button. I see Joe T, Juggler 23 out there ready to rock as well. Trisha M in the house. David Burns, he's rolling out there with us tonight. And appreciate all you guys hanging, getting the job done. We had a late show, big NBA card, big NHL card. That's the way we do it for you guys, trying to help find a way to get that cash. Old E knows. The Futon Bets in the house. Nasty Nate. Good luck to you, Nasty Nate. But I know you and my guy Billy Briz are head-to-head, so it'll be interesting to see how that thing rolls out. Marcus McCarthy, Nunya up in the house. And, of course, Justin McKelvey. The gang showed up. Ricky Levine. Now it's time to show out, my guys. Appreciate Jose Bouquet on the 1s and 2s, filling in for my guy T. And until I see you again, Billy Briz, stay cashing and stay popping, baby. See you soon.